Gayatri Mahamantra with your back straight, both hands upon your laps, left beneath the right. Om Bhuribhuvah Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Om Bhuribhuvah Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodaya. Om Bhuribhuvah Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodaya. Invocation of the Divine Master, Adi Guru Muni Vedyas. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Deva Maheshwara, Guru Deva Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Akhand Mandalakaram, Vyaptam Yena Characharam, Tatpadam Darshitam Yena, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Om Shri Gurave Namah. Vyasarupena avahayami, sthapyami, dhyayami, pujyami, tato namaskaram karomi. ShriMed Bhagavad Gita, chapter number 9 and verse number 21. Before we directly embark upon the words of the Sloka, let us have some understanding about it, so that we can easily absorb and assimilate the essence of the words of the shloka. The discrimination which has been very explicitly laid down through this verse is about the transient and the eternity. What is transient and what is for eternity? To be precise, consciousness alone is eternity. Rest all is transient, is something which is not going to stay forever. Now, how do we define transient? Do we have some sort of a list for that? We can go on tick marking, this is transient and this is not. Yes, there is a list. And there is a way for that. What is the list and what is the way? Apart from consciousness, anything and everything shall come under the list of transient. Anything and everything? What do you mean by that? Is this not a very vague answer? Yes, it is. It is very vague answer, but that is the fact. You start counting from this mortal plane and do not have to rest upon here. Go on moving. Where? The subtle dimensions. Subtle dimensions? Yes. Go on to the heavens even. I haven't been to heaven ever. Maybe, maybe not. But at least you have heard about the heavens. Yes, of course. And for that matter, you cannot deny that there are no heavens which have not been mentioned in various kinds of faiths and beliefs. Yes, I have heard about it. Okay. At least you accept that there is a concept of heaven. Maybe that you may disbelieve their existence or not, but there is something which is heaven. Something lofty, something beyond this planet, this mortal plane, where there is no scope for any deprivation, any ignorance, any kind of inability. Nothing is there of that kind. There is abundance of harmony, abundance of blissfulness, everything in abundance. Yes, that is how we have been listening about that. Now, to discriminate between eternity and the transient, even the heavens fall under the category of transient. They are transient. They're not going to stay forever. Whenever there will be the moment of final culmination pralaya, they are going to be devoured by the Mahakal. It is going to swallow them, devour them. Even heavens won't stay. You mean all celestial beings? Yes, of course, yes. Whatever comes apart from consciousness falls under the list of, within the ambit of transient. To be very precise. And this particular principle will enable you discriminate very easily what is transient and what is not. Because there is nothing left except consciousness. As simple as it could be. It may take you years and lives together to absorb this fact, but the fact shall not change. This is immutable. You can mutate anything apart from this, but you cannot mutate this concept of eternity and transient. Eternity alone is consciousness and nothing else, nothing apart from that. When we observe people departing from this mortal plane, we certainly term them, especially into the Sanatan parlance, we term them Swargiya, the heavenly abode. The soul has left for the heavenly abode. Now, heavenly abode is obviously considered as to be an exalted plane. Yes, it is considered. And as I mentioned a while ago, the exalted plane is associated directly with abundance. Of course, abundance. And abundance in light, let me go on to probe further, abundance in the light with specificity, that what all I was not able to cherish or gratify on this mortal plane. Anything and everything, maybe I may be assured or promised to enjoy all those paucities which I had to confront on this mortal plane. And these are not my simple words. They traveled on from an ordinary being like me to onward still Lahari Mahashay. Even for Lahari Mahashay, when he interacted with his master, Mahavatar Babaji, for the first time in that particular life, in the form of Lahari Mahashay, what transpired between them? The first at the outset was the master conveyed to Lahari Mahashay, Lahari, I know a pending desire within you. You have a deep yearning to be in a palace made out of gold, in a gold palace. Okay, come on, cherish your desire. And thereafter he touched his head and he fell into a trance whereby he went into that palace made out of gold and gratified his deep longing yearning. And when he was out of that, the meaningful dialogue then started therefrom. So what does it mean? Our pending cravings, desires, shortcomings, everything, we assume that they shall be promised to us in the heavenly abode. In our Sanatan parlance, we have different names which have been assigned to the heavenly abode by on the names of different deities, to whomsoever they may correspond. But the basic underlying concept will not change, that they are all transient in nature. And this also comes out when we study the Kathopanishad, the dialogue between the god of death, Yamacharya, and Nachiketa, someone who is firm, the resolute, indomitable spirit of Nachiketa. He was in a dialogue of negotiation with the god of death, Yamacharya. For the third boon, Yamacharya wanted to allure him. And he did all what he could with the known capacities to promise him, you become the master of the world. I can bless you with the age, with a blank check of age. You may go on to write any number, although it is not mentioned in any of the verse over there, but yet the underlying connotation was the same, that you may write for yourself 10,000 years, 20,000 years. Humans cannot prolong more than 100 as generally understood, barring few exceptions. So you are assured of 10,000, 20,000 years. Go there. You'll find all beauty to serve you and you shall be able to cherish even those kind of execute kind of deservings, cravings, striving for in this world and unimaginable ones. Yes, imaginable ones are there in the list, but even the unimaginable, something which you cannot even conceive of, you have never dreamt about, even those shall be there. Now, people, we can only comprehend in general parlance whatever we have observed with our eyes, with our ears, and with our touch, taste, etc. But we cannot comprehend something which is unheard. No, it's not easy to comprehend something which is unheard. And Yamacharya promised him even the unheard, something beyond the ambit of your understanding. Even that shall be there. But Nachiketa had only one particular premise to defy the allurements. What was that? And that defiance was projected to Yamacharya by one premise. What after that? Of course, you have to come back to this mortal plane. Come back to the mortal plane again? Yes, because the final plunge of emancipation shall occur from this mortal plane. Nachiketa was a resolute will. He said, if that be so, then why should I go on for a voyage to this transient aspect of a heavenly abode? No, I don't want. If ultimately the final plunge has to be from here, then why not straight away move onward? Yeah, that was Nachiketa. But for us, the common ones, these words are lofty. But it's not easy to follow. We understand many things. We acknowledge them at our own depths. But are we able to follow them? No. Why? Because we do not know our own roots. We have never been able to traverse the roots of our own awareness. What all we know is whatever transpired in this box which we term as brain, in the form of thoughts, imaginations, inspirations, whatever you go on. And we do not know much about our own self. The most unread book, the most virgin book on this planet is we ourselves. We have never been able to unravel our own hidden aspects. We don't know about ourselves. The understanding and acknowledgement goes on proceeding at the surfacial aspect, very ephemeral. But what about our depths? The depths are there where our propensities have been programmed, they've been cast by our own behavioral experiences of many past lives. So the moment we understand something and out of a spell of that understanding, we give an acknowledgement and make a declaration that no, I want to become a renunciant. I am detached. Good. That's a good pronouncement. But what is the age of that pronouncement in actual? It's not going to last long. Many people, they come under this spell of detachment in their lives, one time or the other. And the spell of detachment is cast upon them, maybe out of some kind of odd which they have experienced in their life, or maybe they have been interacting with people who have been preaching some aspects of spirituality and growth in spirituality. Maybe under a kind of a self-imposed obsession, they become a renunciant or a detached one in a transient manner. But that does not stay. That does not stay for long. What happens? After a passage of time, then those sleeping beauties by the name of our own cravings, propensities and yearnings, they find their opportune moment to rise again and project themselves before us in a very magnified manner. And what happened? All our spell of renunciation is then thwarted away. It's blown apart. And we become bare again into the clutches of those cravings. The vicious cycle begins again. What is the point to convey? The point to convey is primarily one, that even those exalted planes like heavens are transient in their own nature. They're not eternity, number one. Number two, whenever we fall under this spell of renunciation or detachment, it is not necessary that it is going to stay forever till the final culmination of emancipation. It may be so that 99 out of 100, this spell or self-imposed obsession of detachment may be transient in nature. Both the aspects have been conveyed to you during this class so far. So how do we go about? Adi Guru Shankaracharya has given a wonderful way out for that. How to define renunciation? Vairagya, to be more precise, Vairagya. How do we define that? He says that if you're able to cite your passions, obsessions, yearnings, cravings, desires, go on giving it many more synonyms, the essence shall remain the one only. Impending desires, whatever. Unless you're able to threadbare see the fault in them, that there lies a deficiency, an inherent deficiency, and you will not be able to cherish, even if you go on gratifying yourself with a particular kind of a desire for millions and billions of times. It may appear to you at a point that I am done with it, enough with this desire, I am done. Good. Are you done with all desires? No. Number two, if you say you're done with this desire, but you cannot make a proclamation forever that you will not go back to this particular desire, maybe after a passage of time, with the same obsession and spell, you again are bound with it. So, it is better that you work out your way through the knowledge, Jnana Yoga. How? Every time you gratify a particular desire that rides upon your seat of understanding, sways you through, thwarts all of your abstentions or sanyam, what to do? Soon after that, the moment you come out of that spell, ask yourself, have I accomplished something? And what will be the answer? Well, that's a very tricky question. The answer shall be different to different people. People who are tamasic will say, oh, that was something beyond. People who are rajasic will say, this is what life is meant about. The objective of life has been cherished. Whenever I cherish the desire, gratify myself, I feel that I am living. And what about the sattvic one? The sattvic one shall probe deeper. What have I gained? Has there been any addition to my individuality? Is there any enhancement? Have I evolved? Was there any kind of inner growth experienced after this gratification? And the sattvic will come back with the answer every time. No. It was a kind of an wave, something which was like a storm. It was no doubt a storm which came, and I was blown about with it. But I have not been able to accomplish anything. Nothing has been added to my individuality. It is all the same. Maybe not right with this moment, maybe but tomorrow I will again seek the same desire for the gratification. So final fructification has not arrived. I am the same. I remain the same. I was under the spell of particular desire to gratify. I am done with it, but yet it remains the way it was. And the single term given in Bhagavad Gita in one of the other verses for this kind of a state is Mahashanaha, an insatiable fire. A fire you cannot satiate. Any number of times you try to extinguish it, but it shall never. It's insatiable. So the way out is only and only one. To invoke Vairagya by undergoing an inner probe soon after the gratification of your most beloved desire. What did I accomplish? What happens with that? When you go on asking yourself the same question every time, and you are a sattvic person who has a deep inclination into spirituality, maybe under the spell of a transient aspect of renunciation, but this inner probe is going to go deeper into you. If you go on asking the same question to yourself every time after the gratifying that desire, maybe after 100 times or 200 times or maybe after 300 times, does not matter. For the final objective to be accomplished, does it matter that how many times did I really probe myself? Even if it is 1,000 times? No, it does not matter. So why to fall back into the vicious cycle? And that also is mentioned in the verse. If you go to the heavens and you gratify all your impending desires in abundance, imagined and unimagined, all, and then again you come back to the same mortal plane here, like staying into a palace for about 5 years and then coming back to your own ordinary house. Everything is the same. How do you feel now? Oh, where was I for all these 5 years? And the first count, why did I go if I had to come back in the same place? And then start reworking again, trying to accumulate the credit points, the punya. I can encash them in some other life probably. Again for what? Again heavens? Again the transient stay into the heavens? And then again falling back over here? Why? Why to go on experiencing this? Why to fall? Why to be entrapped into this such a vicious cycle? Why don't you think? Think and think. Yes, you will not be able to do much about it at the moment, but wherever the initiation has to be made, it has to be made through this inner probe right after the gratification of any desire which is closest to your heart, which you consider that when the desire comes upon to you, your entire existence is taken over. You are absolutely in its engulf. You are engulfed by it. You are left with no resolve. Nothing works. No wisdom works. Nothing works. You become a tiny creature in front of it when confronted with the spell of such a desire. Ask yourself, and you'll find that every time you shall conclude, I accomplished, no, I simply gratified. Has this gratification given me something? No, I am the same as I was before gratifying the desire. Then who gained? Who gained? Probably something else. A drive, a storm which came, took over my sovereign entity and then left me abandoned. I didn't gain anything. I didn't get anything at all. Go on asking this question, and whenever renunciation will come, it will be meaningful. Then it is going to stay. Otherwise, renunciation to sattvic people is always close by, but transient. It does not come to stay. Now let's come down to the words of the verse. Here they are right before you. Te tam bhuktva swargalokam vishalam kshine punye martalokam vishanti evam traidharmam anuprapannaha gatagatam kama kamaha labante. You may cherish through the ritualistic practices. You may adhere to the discipline of the Vedas. Especially, which part of Vedas? Veda has two parts. Veda Purva, Veda Antaha. Veda Purva, it concerns this mortal plane. All goodness and wellness of mortal plane. And Veda Antaha, also understood as Vedanta, it talks about final plunge, emancipation. So the Vedas have got the major portion of Veda Purva, ritualistic order, whereby it is mentioned in Sahita and Brahman, it is mentioned, if you want a particular desire to be cherished, go on, abide by this procedure, do this, and the gods will please upon you and then shower their bliss. They say, it mentions here For the Vedas, Trei Dharmam, Rig, Yaju, Sam. Atharva being the part of Sam. If you go and follow the ritualistic order of the Vedas, that is the Veda Purva, and you are able to accumulate credit points in the form of punya, and you encash them, or they are encashed at some celestial plane, exalted one, once you exhaust them, you will be back to the square one, that is this mortal plane. And after that, there are all chances, and this is a very, very vulnerable point. Very vulnerable point. What is that? There's a premonition being passed down for this vulnerable point. And what is that? That is Gata Gatam Kama Kamaha Labante. There are all chances that if you are back from those exalted celestial planes, again you fall a prey. Prey. You are vulnerable. Again you fall a prey into the entrapments of these seekings and yearnings and desires, all in transient nature. And one life after another, in the cycle, in the web of vicious cycle of life and birth, death, punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, you will be entrapped. So, what then? Think, Babu, think. Well, you're right about that. The answers are there. The answer is there. But whatever be the answer, that shall be unraveled in the next verse. You already have the understanding. The light has already touched you. And now this verse is going to become a litmus test for you and me in our own individual capacities to adjudicate wisely whether the spell of renunciation or detachment prevailing upon our minds is truly transient in nature, or is it grounded? And we shall certainly conclude with something which is going to pave way for our own inner growth. Enough for the day, for this class, more to come in the next class. We have a class on every second and last Sunday of the month. 7:30 a.m. in Hindi and 9 a.m. in English. Till then, Om Hi Satya Hai. Om Hi Satya Hai. Om Hi Satya Hai.